Okay, I got interrupted again. So the question at the bottom of slide 21 is specifically, what could you accomplish by speaking to an audience? Think of all the things that mean so much to you. Do you want to tell people about it? Let's say you are with that group that is fighting child trafficking or sexual trafficking. Sometimes the same thing. What is your hope? If you want to inform all of us about it, that's fine for an informative speech. If you want to persuade us in some way to do something to help, then that's another thing you could do. You could speak to people to get donations, that sort of thing, or actually get people to come to an event and that sort of thing. So there are lots of things that we can do with communication, by public speaking. We don't just have to inform. We can ask things of people. Moving right along here. So where do we begin? We begin by exercising our presentation muscles. And how do we do that? That's a good question. We have to understand exactly what those muscles are. And I think you might be surprised at how many you'll use. They are the brain, the vocal cords, our hands, our ears, our eyes, and so many other muscles in our body. You might wonder how we use our ears. If I'm speaking and I have to use my vocal cords in my mouth and my lips and my diaphragm, then why am I using my ears? Well, we're going to find out that when you say something, you're going to have to listen to your audience for their response, because you then have to respond to them. Remember that illustration with the gal and the guy talking to each other? One says something, the other responds. Now, usually on the telephone or in face-to-face meetings with people, the person speaking doesn't have enough time to finish what he's saying before somebody else pops in with a comment. So we're talking about in the best possible case of communication, where I can say everything I want to say, pause, and let the other person respond, and then I listen, and then I respond. When you're working with a group, you have to know when to shift gears. Let's say I'm telling a joke and it's not going over. I want to stop that right away. I don't have to wait till the very end. I can stop it right away. I see that they're not responding. I go on to something else. Maybe I stop telling jokes. But we do have to respond. Perhaps somebody said, is going, I can't hear you, I can't hear you. If I see that, then I respond to it by raising my voice a little bit, raising my volume. So we're going to be using everything. On to 24. Why do we want to exercise these muscles by practicing? You will learn to think a problem through and communicate your analysis. Why is this important? Think about that. One day you grow up and you become a parent. You're going to have to do a lot of analyzing, a lot of listening, a lot of truly stopping your mouth from running while you listen to your children, because they may have something very important to tell you. And analyzing a problem takes time, deliberation, thought. You will learn how to persuade people to come around to your point of view. And why is this important? Good things in society get done when a lot of people are persuaded to do the right thing. There are some things we know in society are good things. Feeding the hungry, clothing the poor, housing the poor. There are good things that we probably will not disagree on. So how do I get somebody to come with me? How do I get somebody to get involved? We're going to learn that through persuasion. You will be able to effectively teach others. Just by giving your speeches, you're going to teach your classmates who will be watching them. Not at the same time, but they'll have a video link to them. You're going to teach them how you do something. And they're going to watch you, and they're going to determine in their minds how effective you were. And if you were very effective, not necessarily with the whole speech, but if there was something in your speech that you did particularly well, somebody's going to model that behavior. Somebody's going to copy that behavior and put it in his or her speech. You just watch. Quite often, promotions and salary raises depend on how well you speak. The first thing that every boss says he wants is a good communicator. And he knows that that's what he wants because he's been told that is what he wants, but he doesn't know when he has it. So you will need to speak for yourself as well as for things that you're fond of, like the Special Kids Olympics and those sorts of things. But there will come a time when you'll be in there with the boss and you will think, I haven't had a raise in a long time, and you need to ask for yourself. And you need to make a persuasive claim with evidence. So you'll learn how to do that. On to 25. Let's just skip 25. You can write that down, skip 25. Here's one on 26. Abraham Lincoln's Gettysburg Address is considered to be the best speech ever given. It was only 272 words in length and probably took fewer than 3 minutes to deliver. Think about it. You just wrote something on plagiarism, and I asked you to write between 300 and 375 words. His speech was less than a page. If you type it and double space it, less than a page. Amazing. I'm going to give you a link for tomorrow and Wednesday to listen to a delivery of the Gettysburg speech, Gettysburg Address, and then you'll know what I'm talking about. Nobody has ever heard Abraham Lincoln's voice. There were no recording devices at that time. They came very shortly after that, maybe 10, 12 years after that. All we have are descriptions of his voice. Some people said his voice was a little on the high-pitched side, but we'll never really know. So we get actors to act it out, and I have one by Gregory Peck that I think you'll enjoy very much. On 27, I have a link here. Okay, nothing on 27. 28. Okay, so coming back to our muscles, our big one is the brain, and that's where everything begins. That's really where everything begins and ends. Your brain or intellect is what helps you prepare a message to present. Not all of you enjoy writing outlines. I, for one, don't like writing outlines, but I do. I do because I know how much help I need in organizing my thoughts. I am not going to ask you for strict outlines with every A, B, and 1 and 2 put in there correctly. I want you to do this for you. I want you to know how you're going to open, what your AG is, attention getter, what your introduction is like, what your thesis statement is. We're going to get more into that later. But the thesis statement is so important. It has 3 main points in it. It tells your audience right away, this is the map to my speech. You want to figure out my speech? Here's my map. And it's your thesis statement, very clearly delineating what you are going to tell them. And then in the body, you're going to go and you're going to hit each one of those main points, and you're going to have evidence under each main point. But if you think you can do this just off the top of your head, once you step out there, I think you're going to find out how mistaken you are. The nice thing about recording these speeches is that you can watch yourself afterwards, and if you don't like it, you can do it over again. You can do it a dozen times if you want to get just the right delivery. And I will expect you to practice it so that you can watch it and see what you think of it. Okay, so with the assistance of the principles that we learn in this class, you will be able to construct a message for a particular audience and purpose and deliver it to achieve your goal. And you will do it comfortably. You'll do it in front of a camera. When you do that, you will know that all of your classmates will be able to view it. Not just be able to view it, they will view it because I will assign that they view it and they will evaluate it. And you'll know that as you're speaking. Now, what must we do to prevent people from thinking that we're arrogant or that we think we or our group is superior to the audience? It's very easy to fall into this attitude. I'm better than you. I've had this experience and you haven't, or I solved this problem, but you haven't, and that sort of thing. We're just sharing here. Every single person in this class has achieved something great. Now, we have a different view of great. I'm not talking about achieving something that everybody in the world knows about. As we populate our world more and more and more, each of us becomes less known by the whole world. We don't have to achieve something of world renown in order to do something very good. You can do something wonderful to one person in your life. If you make someone's day each day, imagine that. Imagine all the good that comes out of that. Imagine the achievements. Imagine what you allowed the other person to accomplish. It's truly astounding. This is what you want to do so that you don't come across as arrogant. Respect the listener's cultural values. This goes back to frame of reference. Respect where they are now. Understand that you may not be in the same place, but respect where they are. And you're asking, how do you know where they are? Well, you're going to find out. You're going to do something called audience analysis. Adapt your messages to the expectations. The audience will have expectations of you. If you give somebody a resume and they're introducing you and you lied on your resume and you said that you went here and you went there and you did this and you did that and you didn't, you're just setting yourself up for a huge fall. Always tell the truth. In this class, we do ethical public speaking. We do not lie, except when we're making up a story like, here I am, I'm going to accept the Academy Award. We all know that I'm going to allow you a certain amount of creativity. So, anyway, then imagine yourself in place of the listeners. That's always good. And then be alert to feedback. Like I said, watch your audience. And then here, these are the questions. So take a look at the last slide and ask yourself these questions. You'll know a little bit more about how you have to prepare for a speech.